Well, hello everybody. I just wanted to do a brief video, and I'm smiling because I know that when I say I'm going to do something briefly, I don't do very well with brief. When I start talking about something, especially something I know about, or even more so, something I'm passionate about, it becomes anything but brief. But I'm going to give it a shot. And so, to start out, I'll introduce myself. I'm Jason Potts. I'm a CPA. I work out of my home, actually, in office in my home in Maceo, Kentucky. Maceo is a little bitty town outside of Owensboro, Kentucky. Owensboro and Maceo both are about 2 hours west of Louisville, Kentucky, if you're familiar with that is. Just in case you stumbled on this video through an internet search or somebody shared it with you, if you're not somebody I know personally, I hope someday I do, but just in case, wanted to tell you who I am. And so I'm doing these videos about just basic financial concepts in personal finance. A lot of my clients that I've seen over the years, and I should have introduced my practice, I've built a career out of helping people improve their financial lives, understand their financial lives, make better financial decisions. And a big part of that has just been basic education. Most folks are not financially minded, and just don't understand basic concepts. And that's fine. Everybody has their specialty. I can't, everybody's ignorant about something. Ignorant is not an insult, it's just a fact. I'm ignorant about how to fly the space shuttle, but there are other things I know about. And everybody's that way. A lot of folks are ignorant, not in a bad way, have opportunity to learn about financial concepts. So I've helped a lot of my clients understand basic financial concepts, apply them to their lives, improve things in their lives. And that's the goal of these videos. And so I put out a video earlier this week, and I talked about debt and about the problem with debt and how debt increases the risk in your financial life. But not just that, it costs more. You're going to pay fees up front. You're going to pay additional costs over the course of the loan. Interest, compound interest, as I said in that video. Albert Einstein considered that the eighth wonder of the world. And it will work against you if you have a loan, if you are making payments on something. So I talked about that. And towards the end of that video, I said the best way to prevent getting tangled up in debt is to plan ahead, think ahead a little bit. And some of the feedback I had from that video was, well, how do you plan ahead? There's not everything in life you can anticipate. And that's true. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that in this video, and hopefully give you some ideas on not just how you can plan ahead, but help you start getting in the mindset of planning ahead for things, and hopefully leading to financial success by doing so. So let me switch over to the internet here, and as I like to do, I'm not a preacher at all, but I like to start with some advice from the Bible. And if you just go to your favorite Bible search engine, whatever that is, I use Bible Gateway. I got used to that years ago. Whatever your favorite search engine for the Bible is, and you just start putting in things like planning, planning ahead, planning for the future, whatever search terms you use, you're going to find just all kinds of stuff. So again, brief video. I don't want to talk about the Bible all afternoon, although there's a whole lot worse ways to spend an afternoon. But I just picked a few. Proverbs 21, chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent end in profit, but those of the hasty end in loss. I tell you what, this was written for some of my clients and some of the folks that I have worked with over the years. If you diligently plan ahead, you are going to, on average, succeed financially and otherwise, more so than those who are hasty. If you get in a hurry, that is the worst way to do something, most expensive way to do something, which we'll talk about in this video. Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Which of you wishing to construct a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if there is enough for its completion? I built this house. I planned for 3 years, a solid 3 years, on building this house over and over, and obsessed over it almost. And I can't imagine not sitting down and planning ahead. It doesn't have to be something as big as a house. It can be something bigger than a house. But who wishing to undertake anything of value does not sit down first and calculate its cost? Excellent word here. And then here's the big one that everybody knows, and I'm not going to read this entire thing, but it's the parable of the 10 virgins. They took their lamps out to meet the bridegroom. 5 planned ahead, had enough oil in their lamps. 5 were foolish. They did not bring enough oil for their lamps, and they ran out. Those 5 ran out before the bridegroom arrived, and so they went out and looking for oil. And when the bridegroom arrived, they just weren't there because they did not have oil. The others did. And when they got back, the 5 foolish ones, when they got back, the door was locked. They couldn't come in and join the wedding, the bridal party. And so the moral of the story here, and we do see that down here, and we'll hear different versions of this. Stay awake, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Well, so many things in our financial lives are that way also. Yeah, we might not know, and that's kind of the point, and that's kind of the feedback I got on some of my video that I put out about debt, is that we don't know the day or the hour. I mean, if we, obviously if we knew when something was going to happen in the future, we'd all go just go buy lottery tickets and become instant millionaires. If we could predict things in the future, it'd be a whole different world. We can't. But that's the exact point of all these verses. You don't know the day, you don't know the hour, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, and so you need to plan ahead. So let me flip back over to just me here. And so, there we go. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what constitutes an emergency? I'll start with this one because it's a big one, and I guess it's a pet peeve of mine. I read something every year about how much credit card debt Americans take on for Christmas. Okay, I got news for you. Christmas is not an emergency. So we're going to have a pop quiz here. I hope you're ready. Everybody answer this. Just holler it out loud. I won't be able to hear you. Holler however loud you want. What day is Christmas on this year? Okay, you got that one? What day is Christmas on next year? Okay. Now, I know this is way in the future. What day is Christmas on the year after that? 2027. I'm making this video in 2025. All right, you got it? Okay, if you answered right, you said December 25th of all those years. So, as soon as one Christmas is over, you have exactly 12 months to plan for the next one. Put some numbers to it. If you want to spend $1,200 on Christmas gifts, you've got 12 months. You need to save $100 a month. Put it in something bearing a little bit of interest, and you'll have an extra $20 at the end of the year. So you got a little bit of cushion, or a little bit of something to buy yourself a Christmas gift, whatever. You want to, and the math works the same way. You want to spend $600 on Christmas, save $50 a month. You want to spend $2,400, save $200 a month. Whatever the numbers are, Christmas is not an emergency. You can plan ahead for Christmas. Okay. You can do it, I promise. You don't have to go into debt. You don't have to be surprised. Same thing, same day every year. Thanksgiving, what is it, fourth Thursday of November every year. It moves around a little bit, so it's not exactly 12 months, but it's about 12 months. If you want to have a huge Thanksgiving feast, spend $600, you need to save $50 a month. Halloween, I'm making this video on, October 17th. 2 weeks from today, it's going to be Halloween. I don't make a big deal out of Halloween. I did when I was younger. But a lot of people do. That's fine. Your money. Do whatever you want. If you do that, what day is Halloween on? This year, next year, the year after. You need to, you've got 12 months to plan ahead. However much you want to spend on Halloween, there you go. Not an emergency. No reason to go into debt. No reason not to spend money wisely. Birthdays. You've got children, spouse, parents, friends, your boss, whoever. You can, what day that is? Same day every year. Again, not an emergency. So, I could go on about these things. There are so many things that happen every year, every month, every quarter, whatever, every 2 years, things that you know ahead of time and you can plan for it. So, some of my more astute viewers are probably seeing a pattern here. But let's make it a little bit harder. So, those are things that happen every year. Is a set of tires on your car, on your truck, is that an emergency? Well, you might think so. That doesn't happen every year. Um, if you buy a set of tires with a 48,000, and I'm doing that to make the math easy, 48,000 mile warranty on them, or tread life warranty on them. If you drive like I do, I get about half of that. But let's say you get that entire 48,000 miles, and you know that you drive about 12,000 miles per year. Well, all right, 48,000 divided by 12 is 4. So if those tires last as long as the manufacturer expects them to, you can get 4 years out of them. If a set of tires for your vehicle costs $1,000, you need to save $250 a year. That's what, a little bit more than $20 a month. And so you put $20 a month into a tire fund, and you get to the end of that 4 years, your tires are wore out, you go to get a new set of tires, it's no longer an emergency, it's no longer a panic, you've got the money sitting aside, you've planned ahead, it took you 4 years to do it, but you planned ahead, and you can not panic, you can go purchase a set of tires, find the best deal on them, and above all, don't go into debt to buy a set of tires. The other video I mentioned, what prompted it was my family and I, the HVAC system, the air conditioning and heating system in our house, took a turn for the worse, and we had to replace it. It was a big expense. It was 21 years old. It wasn't a surprise. And so those things have a life, 20 to 30 years. In fact, the new one we have, I don't know how much the warranty was on the old one, but most of the big components in our new one have a 20-year warranty. And so what's that tell you? It's going to last about 20 years, right? And so our example that we used in our previous video was $10,000, and that wasn't exactly what ours cost, but it was in the ballpark. And so if you know it's going to last 20 years, roughly, hopefully longer, but 20 years kind of worst case, and it costs $10,000, that's $500 a year that you need to set aside. And we had done that. And so again, it wasn't a big deal. We shopped around, we got a good deal. But the fact that we had to do something was not an emergency, not something we had to panic about, and therefore we could take our time, make a good decision, and again, above all, not go into debt. So again, that's a little bit harder. So hopefully my astute viewers are hanging on, staying with me here so far. Now, once you get the things that we've gone over so far, Christmas is not an emergency. Even something a little bit bigger like a set of tires, or even bigger than that, something like a heating and air conditioning system in your house. Once you grasp that those are not an emergency, that is something you can plan ahead for and should plan ahead for, you can apply this same mindset to larger, and even longer term issues. So let's talk about a couple of those. So is saving for college an emergency? Is that something that you can plan ahead for? Okay. Now, there's a little bit of subtle math to this, but just in general, and it might vary a little bit, but in general, if you have a baby 9 months from now, if you have a baby 9 months from now, I know what you're doing tonight, but you have a baby 9 months from now, you know about 18 years from then, if that child chooses to go to college, that's when you're going to need money for them to go to college. And you can do some estimates on how much college will cost in 18 years, and you take those numbers, you divide it by 18, that's what you need to save per year. Now, a long-term thing like that, I'll fully admit that just dividing by 18 is not the full story on how you need to do that calculation, because if you put it in something that earns either earns interest, dividends, or has capital gains, so it goes up in value, then you don't have to do the full 18, that number divided by 18, because it will grow over time. And so but you can plan for that. Your child going to college, you know about when that's going to happen, about 18 years from when they're born. And there are other things you can do with college funds if they don't go to college. So it's not a bad thing to do to invest. There are tax savings associated with that, all kinds of stuff that we're not going to go into today. But the bottom line for today is that your child going to college and you saving to help them go to college, that's something you can anticipate. All right, a little bit longer term here, saving for retirement. If you're 25 years old and you know you want to retire at 65, you know that you've got 40 years to save for retirement. Retirement's not an emergency, and preparing for it is not something that you are unable to do. You are very well able to do it. You just have to think ahead. I said if you're 25, you want to retire at 65, that's 40 years. If you're 35, getting a little bit later start, that's fine. You've got 30 years if you want to retire at 65. If you want to retire at 60, knock 5 years off of that. Whatever the numbers are, you know how much you need to save. Look out to when you anticipate retiring. Figure out about what you need to have in the bank or have in retirement accounts when you retire, and then divide that by the number of years you have remaining, and that's about what you need to do. Again, a little bit less than that, considering that your money will grow over that whole time. So there are truly some things that you can't foresee also, but you can still plan for them and plan to address them when they do happen, and you can mitigate their impact. And so some examples of that, let's say the transmission of your car goes out 10 days out of warranty, as often happens. Well, you can plan for that by having an emergency fund. You don't know each year what kind of things are going to come up, but you do know something will come up. In a bad year, it's multiple somethings, and in a really bad year, it's multiple big somethings. You need to have an emergency fund. You need to be able to address these things that come up that you can't anticipate. That's where having a substantial emergency fund comes in. I always tell my clients, anyone that asks, I actually told someone earlier today, that if you can figure out what you spend on living expenses in 6 months, so take what you spend in a year divided by 2, that's a good guideline on what you need to have in the bank. And if you do spend something out of that, if your transmission goes out and you have to replace it, write a check, find a good deal, and replace your transmission, but then replenish that emergency fund, put money back into it. Unexpected kid expenses. If you've ever had a small child, you know that they will come in and say, so-and-so's having a birthday party this weekend. Most 5-year-olds don't have a job, so that's on you to buy a gift. Again, have a savings account, have some money set aside for these kind of unexpected things, even if you do a full-blown budget. And again, that's not the topic of this video. If you would like for me to do a video on budgeting, I can do that. I've done a lot of budgets over the years. But even if you don't have little Susie's birthday party in your budget, you can have a savings account to accommodate these small unexpected expenses. Things like major medical expenses, that's the one that people always push back on me. It's like, yeah, how do you anticipate cancer? Well, you don't, and God forbid any of you get cancer. But we know that it happens to somebody, and I know for firsthand experience that somebody can be me or somebody can be you. And so how do you anticipate something like that? A car wreck, any kind of major medical expense. And it doesn't have to be medical. It can be something like hail destroying your roof. Well, these big unanticipated expenses, you can either self-insure. Well, what's that mean? If it costs $40,000 to put a roof on your house, just make sure you've got $40,000 sitting in liquid cash, some bank account, whatever it is, CDs. And if the hail destroys your roof, you get $40,000 out of the bank, you put a roof on. That's self-insurance. If fighting a cancer diagnosis costs $500,000, well, have $500,000 in the bank. That's self-insurance on addressing a cancer diagnosis. Most people don't do that. Most people will choose to get insurance. Now, when you get insurance, you're paying a small amount for someone else to assume that risk. You're going in a pool with other insurance buyers for that insurance company to address the risk. Not everybody's going to have cancer. Not everybody's going to have hail destroy the roof. And so you're paying a premium. Coincidentally, it's called that, but you're paying a premium, meaning you're paying more than statistically you would have to pay yourself to self-insure it, but you're not paying as much, the gross amount, as much as it would take for you to self-insure that risk, because you're passing that risk on to someone else, but you're sharing that risk with other folks. And so you are paying a premium for someone else to take on that risk. It's cheaper than you self-insuring it yourself. But it does add a little bit of cost because you're paying someone else to assume that risk for you. But again, it's not an emergency. I know it sounds crazy to say a cancer diagnosis or the hail or a tornado taking the roof off your house is not an emergency. Don't at all misunderstand this. Both of those would suck. You don't want those to happen. They are an emergency. They're a very emotional thing. They're a very traumatic thing. But financially, they don't have to be an emergency. They can be something that you've prepared for. Hopefully it never happens, but hopefully my house never burns down, but I've got a fire extinguisher in the kitchen just in case. Insuring against these things is your fire extinguisher. It's making yourself prepared to handle these in the event that they happen. And so planning ahead just in general, it buys you time. And the most expensive way to do something is in a hurry. You get into a hurry to do whatever it is, whether it's buying a package of hamburger at the grocery store. You get into a hurry on that, or something huge like putting a roof on your house. You're going to pay more. You're going to pay more for the product. You're going to pay more for shipping it here, or for shipping it to you. And like we discussed in the previous video, if you finance it, it's going to cost you way more. In a couple of different ways. And so you don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. You can plan ahead. You can take control. So if you want to succeed financially, just start doing that. Start planning ahead. Let me go back to one final Bible verse. I'll put in a little bit of shameless plug here. A lot of this stuff that I talked about, the planning for college, planning for your retirement, there are some relatively, I won't say complex, but to a lot of people they are, financial calculations involved in those two things. And so you might want to have an advisor. You might want to have somebody like me. You might want to have a financial advisor. If you do want to talk to me, obviously contact me. I've got my information on my other slide that I'll pull up here in a minute. I'll have it in the description of the video. You can definitely contact me. Please do, if I can help you with anything. If you need a financial advisor, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a CPA. I cannot recommend investments. I can help you look at your overall financial picture, but I cannot recommend investments. I can't sell insurance products. Financial advisors can. I have a really, really good one here in town in Owensboro, Kentucky that I work with. So if that's someone that you would like to speak with, she would love to talk to you. So just again, contact me. I can get you in touch with her. But either way, let's look at what the Bible has to say. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 22. Plans fail when there is no counsel, but they succeed when advisors are many. If any of this stuff is overwhelming to you, I promise you that seeking help will pay off more than you'll ever spend for it. A good financial advisor, a good CPA, good trusted folks that can help you plan your financial life, they will benefit you more than you will ever spend on them. And I'm not just saying that because I am one. I do this for some of my family for free, and so obviously they get way more value out of me than what they pay me, since it's nothing. But even if you pay somebody, it is worth every penny. Don't hesitate to seek them out and let them help you. So that's really it for this video. Like I said, I wanted it to be brief. I'm not even looking at the time. Probably wasn't brief, but hey, what do you do? So just let me conclude with this. Life, specifically the financial part of it, you do the things I've mentioned here. You start planning ahead, anticipating things. Life will start happening for you instead of happening to you. Thank you. I hope this made sense. If this video helped you, I ask that you like it. You share it with other folks. Anybody that you think would benefit from it, please share it with them. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, I intend to produce some more in the future. Please subscribe to my channel. And if there's any other basic financial topic that you would like to see me do a video on, leave that in the comments, and I'll try to do a video on it, tell you everything that I know about it, do some research, find out what the Bible says about it, because that's an excellent place to start no matter what topic in life. So let me know if there's anything else you would like to see. And in the meantime, you all take care.